In this video, I want to talk about how selecting better projects will lead to you having better project profits. And I will talk about it in the context of your construction contract. So, one of the things I observe when I meet with potential clients is their desire to increase their contribution. I hear this so many times when I meet with potential clients where they talk about the reason why they went into business, or they may talk about when they started up the business and you know where they were and where they are now. It's kind of like going down memory lane. I do like when I meet with potential clients and they go down memory lane a bit with me because it humanizes their brand, it humanizes their company, and these are companies that are turning over like eight figures, high eight figures, like 50 million and more companies that I'm talking about. But it's really nice, especially when I meet the founder, like the CEO, and it tends to be and he goes down memory lane discussing when he started and just the impact that he has made. But what is often striking to me is the desire to make an even bigger impact in the industry. Because if you think about it, that's why we get into construction. Construction is a very interesting industry where you can see daily the contribution that you are making to society. Because as you build something, every day you're building a little bit more and a little bit more, and you see from when they dig out the start digging for the foundation, they pour the concrete. Like every day you can see the development. You don't have to wait very long, like in some industries, for example, to see the impact that you're making. You see it daily. That's what I love about construction. And so they want to increase their contribution, and this may be their output. They want to increase the impact that they make in the industry. They want to increase the number of projects that they can take on. So that may be their capacity. And they want to improve the quality of the work and the projects that they work on. So they want to work on maybe higher value projects, more high profile projects, because for example, that will give them media attention and they can put that as, a major project that they worked on to part of their marketing so that it can get more clients. And so to do this, you need to focus on some things. You need to reduce certain things and increase certain things. So you need to reduce pressure, distraction, and noise. And you need to increase your strengths. So whatever it is that you are strong in as a business, you need to go lean in and go all in on that. You need to focus and you need to increase your support. And this is a concept that I got from Sharfin because Sharfin used to be one of my coaches. And this is one of something that he would always drill into us about the need to reduce certain things and to increase certain things in order to drive the change that we want to see in our businesses. And it happened one day. I was meeting with a potential client, and he started going down memory lane and started talking about, just the plans that he had for his business. And I just had like a aha moment at that point in time. I just remembered, sitting in on a call with Sharfin and him pounding into us what it is that you need to reduce, what it is that you need to increase. And that's what I thought. I was just like, this founder needs to reduce certain things and increase certain things. That's what came in my mind. And the things that came in my mind are based on the discussion that we were having. I was distilling all of that information right there and then and identifying some of the things that I thought he needed to reduce and needed to increase in his business. And so if you want to increase your contribution to the industry, and that may be, the type of projects that you take on, being able to get more profit margins and cash flow so that you can make a bigger contribution, for example, to your community, because you have some construction companies that they will sponsor, for example, community events or community football teams, whatever it is that you want to make a greater impact or contribution in, you are going to have to identify those things that you need to reduce and identify those things that you need to increase. And so for that client, when I had that meeting with him, we were talking about his construction contracts, and it just occurred to me that he needed a good contract strategy because he didn't have one. They were just selecting projects ad hocly, tendering for them, see if they want or not, and in many cases, just taking the contract as it is. And they were able to grow their business that way. But he had now reached a point because, as you know, in business, whenever you want to level up, there are certain things that you need to put in place in order to go to a new level. And so that's what he was looking to do. And so he needed a good contract strategy. And so how does that look in the context of this topic about, reducing certain things and increasing certain things in order to achieve that goal? It means that you have to reduce the pressure, the distraction, and the noise, and increase your strengths, your focus, and your support. And for your contract, that means you need to have a clear scope. And how does that reduce the pressure? If your scope is clear, like your specifications, for example, or your works information is clear, then there is less pressure on you because you know what it is that you are going to deliver. And if it is clear, then you are leaning into your strengths and you will increase that because you know what it is that you do well and you know you can do it well. And so, why not write your scope or your specs detailing what you do well? So, for example, in some of the specifications, you will see must build to best international standard, for example. What does that even mean? You know, um, why not take the time, review the specification, write a good spec, ensure that your scope is clear, and ensure that whatever falls outside of that is clear as well. Because there are a lot of disputes around, what is in the scope, what is not in the scope. And that often occurs because the contract is not explicit about what falls outside and what should be a compensation event. It is not design development, for example. We get that a lot. And so it means that there are these boundaries. And if you've been listening to me for a while, you know I like to talk about boundaries and putting boundaries in contracts. This is a way you put boundaries around your scope and what is a compensation event and what is scope creep. And so therefore you are reducing that pressure. You are reducing the pressure to do work that you will not be paid for. You are increasing your strength and leaning into the fact that I can do X well, I can do M&E well, I can do fit out well, I can do ducting well, and this is what I'm going to do. And anything outside of that is a problem for you, Mr. Employer, and therefore you're either going to have to find another contractor to do it or you're going to have to instruct me and pay me to do it. So that's how you use your contract to reduce and increase and to impact your contribution. Another one is distraction. And to reduce your distraction and increase your focus, you need a contract playbook. You need to understand what it is that is a minimum standard for you when it comes to contract terms and conditions. What an ideal clause for you looks like. And if you have that, then you're able to read every contract and figure out if this comes close to my best practice or not. And so you can focus. Because sometimes when I go into contract negotiations, and I even see this on the other side as well, it's just all over the place. They're distracted. They're not quite, counsel is, for example, is not sure what the company will accept or not accept. They come to the negotiation with no authority to bind anything. They have to take everything back. But it's always great when you have it laid out, a playbook laid out of your best clauses. These are the best situations for you. And so when the tender drops and the draft contract drops, you and your solicitor can use your playbook and focus. You focus, because there's some clauses that are going to be so vital for you, and you need to hone in on those clauses and not be distracted. And the other thing is to reduce the noise and increase support. And you do that with your contract by having effective processes. So your contract should outline a process for every major action or compliance requirements under the contract. So whatever condition, for example, it should outline it. And the for a process to be effective, you need to know step by step what you need to do. And you need to know the consequences for not doing the steps in order. And then you need to ensure that it's in alignment with what you have going in your business, because it makes no sense for you to set up your contract with a process that does not align with any process that you have in your business. So now you're going to have to build a whole new process for this one contract, because this is the only contract that has this scenario going on. And if you are, I would say, a large organization, you may be able to do that. But I've worked in large organizations that have not been able to do that. So if you are a small to medium organization, I would advise you, do not do that. So I'll give you an example. I was working with a client recently, and they came in with a contract. The dispute resolution clause was almost non-existent. And my question to my client was, what is the dispute resolution process that you want to follow? What it is that you do currently in your when you have a dispute on other projects, for example, or how do you manage dispute? What's the ideal situation for you? And let's write that up and propose that to the other party, because it is, if you're already doing something and that thing is effective, it works, then it is best if you follow that process and don't try to create a new process, because 9 times out of 10 you are not going to be able to do both processes at the same time. So your contract will reduce all these things that are hindering you from making that impact with your business that you want to make, and it will increase all these wonderful things that you need to increase to ensure that your business achieve the goals and objectives that you set for this year, 5 years time, 10 years time. And so that's how a good contract strategy will help you to select better projects. And by selecting better projects, you will be able to get better profits. Because once you realize that, the tender job, a draft contract comes with it, or, let's say it's a project is already going on, and a contractor, like a main contractor, has contacted you. They have a waiver, for example, that they can go to specialist suppliers without, competitive tender, for example, and they come to you saying, can you work on this project for me doing these things? You go to this slide here and you determine, is the scope clear? What does my playbook say? What are the processes? Are the processes clear? Do they match up to the processes I already have? And that will help you to determine if this is a project that is going to increase all the pressure and distraction and noise, or is it a project that's going to increase your strength and your focus and your support? Is it going to help to increase the contribution that you want to make in the marketplace, or is it going to reduce it by taking you away from the greater goal that you have set for yourself? So this is a way that you start using your construction contract and your contract strategy to make that contribution that you want um, in the marketplace. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. If something was not clear, if you want me to expand on something, hop on over to LinkedIn, find me, send me a message, and I will definitely answer you or create a video addressing that issue. Have a good one. Bye.